Welcome back to 845. Let's get started.
I've been through it all, through the highs and the lows.
On today's show, we're going to be talking about how people create versions of others that don't actually exist. I thought this would be a good topic. See, people will create versions of others that don't actually exist. It's to stay comfortable. Most people need to know exactly what they're dealing with. And one, you would never really know exactly what you're dealing with, but they have to create a version of who they think you are so you can fit within a box that they have enough information of to be able to handle you. And that's partially what stereotyping is. You stereotype, you look at somebody and you use all your past information of what this person kind of seems like they match up as, and you put them in that box and you're like, well, this is how I deal with this type of person if I encounter them. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you don't know who you're dealing with. The problem is when the person that you've stereotyped and you created this version of this person that you think they are, and you put them in that box, and they show you that they're not that person, that they're not that person, and they're really this type of person right here, and you're like, well, no, you're just going to be this. That's where it becomes an issue, where they make you who they think you are. And the reason why they would like to keep you in that box, is because you begin to challenge their reality. You're challenging everything that they have known. Not all people, this is not all people, but this is some people that are stuck in their way of thinking. And you can even call it closed minded. Because an open minded person, once they see something that they thought was something, and it turns out to be something different, they could be like, oh, okay, I have to correct myself. This is what this really is. Now I have to figure out a new way to learn this. That's what open minded is. Closed minded is putting you into that box and keeping you there no matter what you do. But a lot of people will also keep you in a box and keep you as a certain version of who they think you are. Is because imagine you had this certain thought of who this person is, and they're way better than that. And they're better than you, but you had a lower view on them. You see what I'm saying? You thought you were better than this person right here, but they're actually better than you. That's why they want to keep you in that box, because what does it mean? It shakes up their reality too much if they have to change their view on you and actually, this is a version of you, not this. And this version is better than you. Now you have to question who the hell you are. And instead of having to re-evaluate yourself, I could just keep that person in this box right here. without having to change who I am. And the reason why this is a problem when they want to keep you in a certain box is if you work with this person. If you can't escape a person that's keeping you in a certain, that refuses to see you as who you are, then you're going to continue to get treated in a way that is not correct to the person who you are. That's when it's bad, when it could be a family member, like, because you can't usually leave your family. When it's work, but this can also happen with friends. They could see you a certain way, and anytime you do something that seems to be out of that box, but it's really just who you are, but to them it seems like you're stepping out of that box, they had shut down anything that's outside of this box. You're in the middle of this box, and if you step out of that box, anything outside of that box is disregarded. Nah, you're only this. And this also happens with it, it usually happens also when you grow as a person. Say somebody knew you back when you're like 20, 21, and you were this type of way, and now you're 37. If you haven't seen that person that knew you back when you were 21 and you met back up with them when you were 37, they have a hard time seeing you who you are now at 37. So they start trying to place you back in that 21-year-old box. You could be doing everything different from when you were 21, which most of the time you usually are. Because people grow, you grow over time. You have different experiences that create different reactions. And the different reactions is just you being a different person through the different experiences. And they won't let it go because they're like, nah, you need to be in this box. Because what if when you were 21 and that other person was, y'all were both 21, they were way ahead of you. But now at 37, y'all at 37, y'all ain't seen each other in a while, and you're ahead of them. Some people can't handle that. They're like, how did you blow past me over these years? So instead of even saying, how did you blow past me, they won't even acknowledge that. They see it, but they're like, nah, this didn't happen. So they'll bring back the 21 version of you when they were better and place it on the 37-year-old version of you and act like that's what it is. We've all seen that happen. And then the thing that they like to do is tell everybody stories about the older version of you as if that's who you are now. They want to diminish what you've done for yourself to keep you at that older version of yourself. Because if they believe what they see you are right now, that better version, and if it's better than what they think you should be, then they have to look at themselves and ask themselves, where did I go wrong? And the thing is, it's only them that think something's wrong. If I'm living my life and you're living your life, why does it have to be a comparison or a competition? Why does it have to be a competition? Can't I just be good at what I like to do over here and you be good at what you're doing over there? It could be two separate things, but they still think it needs to be equal. If I got really good at guitar and you were really good at mountain biking, why can't I just be good at guitar and you're good at mountain biking? Why do we need to diminish my guitar playing to what I was doing at 21? And then you can talk about how good you are at mountain biking because the ego. Some people's ego won't let them feel like they're behind others. And it doesn't even make any sense because it's not even the same category. The bottom line, what it comes down to is I'm better than you. It doesn't even matter what category or what's going on. They just want to know that I'm better than you. They don't even know if that game was really real that they're talking about. They already lost. They've lost their internal battle. One, it shows that they still haven't grown from 21. It also shows that whatever they've made of themselves at the age of 37, they're still not happy with. Because if you're happy with what you've made out of yourself, you could just you wouldn't really be worried about diminishing somebody else's because you're glad to have what you've become. And why would it the only person and and why would it matter if somebody else is doing good on their end over here? It shouldn't even matter. The only person you should be competing with is really yourself because that's all that matters. But what I've realized is some people's self-esteem is so low, they'll take whatever win they could possibly take, even if it's not an official win. They're grasping at straws of wins. Even if they make up a win, they'll make up a win in their head and grab that one and be like, I won. And it's always going to be people that do that move right there, that don't want to give you your credit. Because if they give you your credit, then they have to admit that you're not who they thought you were, and that maybe I do need to work on myself a little more. But for some reason, it seems easier for people to either tear you down to get that win instead of them tearing the old version of them down and creating a winner of themselves, a new winner. Because we're all different versions of ourselves. We're all different versions. We're uh, we're tons of different versions. Who wants to be one version of themselves throughout their whole life? What was the whole point? What was the point of living? Like, where did you like? There's no growth. Even the person who's trying to keep a certain person in a box and of a keep them a version of themselves that they want them to be, they're even a different version from a while back. We change over time. You're supposed to change over time. You're supposed to grow. That's kind of what the uh, high school reunion and stuff was, just to see people you haven't seen in a long time and see what version are you now. We haven't seen you in 25 years. Who are you now? Like, what's going on? Who's a new version of you? Imagine going to a high school reunion or something like that and expecting the same exact person that you've seen or knew 25 years ago. You got to be crazy. People change even if they don't even know they're changing. But to but the takeaway from this whole conversation is when you realize somebody's putting you creating a version of you that doesn't exist, acknowledge it. You gotta recognize it when you see it. They're like, oh, this person's not giving. You can tell because they're not giving you a chance. They're like, nah, nah, nah. You're still that. You're still this. You're still. You know when they're doing it. I even had a friend like that. I had a friend. We were cool like around 21, 22. We used to work together, and there was this chick, and she would always be giving me extra like work to do and all this stuff, and he'll be kind of laughing about it. I would see him every maybe like 7 years from then. We'd run into each other. He'd bring up that story. You remember when that girl made you sweep the carpet? Just all like he couldn't ever get over that. And then I saw him like 8 years later after that, brought it up again. Then we wound up working with each other. He brought it up to all the new people. And I had to tell him, I was like, do you know why that girl was doing that? He's like, what? Because what he was trying to do is embarrass me. Like, nah, you're not nothing. You're not nothing. Remember how that girl was doing you? I said, I told him in front of some people that he was trying to tell that 20-year-old story to try to disregard who I am. And it wasn't even really a funny story. It's kind of just like a messed up story. It's just having a horrible boss, that was doing some crazy stuff when you're 20, making you work, just just stuff. And I said, man, she came on to me and I told her, nah, like, nah, we're not gonna, I'm not interested. So pretty much just rejected her. And then she started giving me all this extra work. And I told him that. And he's like, oh, that was the reason? I'm like, yeah, because I didn't like her, you know? And he told that story, kept that story alive for that whole time. So it's crazy. So he tried to keep me in this box. Like, yeah, I mean, he told that it was like that's the only thing he's known about me, but he knows everything. Knew about me making beats, knew about me playing sport. He knew a lot of stuff. But the only thing he would keep is something that wasn't cool that happened. So yeah, like I said, the takeaway from this whole conversation is when you recognize that somebody is won't won't let you out of this box that they created, is to stay away from them. And if it's somebody you work with, stay away from them because it's not like they're gonna treat you with the respect that you deserve. They're not gonna give you a fair chance. I'm in this right here. Until next time.